Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Life on the Hulls, and I just thought I'd highlight something that's going on here right now. Oh, I'm so excited about that. Nothing more exciting than watching Janet clean windows. I love it because it's my pet hate.
I said you've got to get a better life if this is what makes you excited.
It makes me very excited because they've been pretty dirty. We've had a lot of really extreme heat and dust storms, and then we got a big rainstorm the other night, and the windows are just filthy. So I've been watching them get dirtier and dirtier, and I just said to Janet, I've got a little bit of water left over here. How would you like to use this? And she goes, oh, so I'm cleaning windows now. You're doing a great job, Don.
So glad for you that I am. That I do the windows. Why don't you do it?
I have just cleaned the entire underside of the hard top, so it's not like I don't clean, and I don't expect Janet to do this, but I like to make a joke about it because we're such old school people, aren't we, Janet? Not really. I'm a sensitive new age guy and I'm prepared to do the cleaning. I just hate cleaning toilets. Hate them. You reckon I'm running a risk of getting killed?
If you don't buy me, you'll probably buy someone who's watching.
Yeah. The bickering continues, and today we have a very exciting day because we've got Yanmar. Ian Mills from Power Equipment in Australia here, who's the Yanmar dealer, is coming down. We're going to take him for a run in the boat so he can sign off and commission our engines, which have been commissioned now for 12 months, but catching up with these guys has been a little bit difficult, and we've got him on board in about an hour's time. We're going to go out for a run for an hour or so and just check some parameters, make sure everything's okay, make sure the install is sufficient, and everything's doing what it should be doing. Going on 3 years ago, we started to install the freezer, and finally I'm almost ready to kick it off. I've put in some vapor seal around the outside of the foam, and that included sort of aluminium tape, and sealed up all the joints, and I'm ready to basically start to get the whole thing together. It's been a bloody long process, but it sort of hasn't really been an urgent one because we've got this fantastic Vitrafrigo double drawer fridge, which currently is fridge, but so we have no freezer on board. We haven't had a need for one, but we do need it now with Christmas coming on, and we're going to spend quite a lot of time on the boat, so having a freezer is going to be gold, particularly with all the fish that I intend to catch. Good luck with that. I'm a hopeless fisherman. But down in here, this cabinet here is our 130 litre freezer. It has an isotherm panel in it. Basically, it's just a large fiberglass freezer with 50 millimetres of foam all the way around it. The compressor's down the bottom, which is actually exhausted into the adjacent cabin. So there's plenty of ventilation in there. I'm going to put some more down in the bottom there and hopefully duct it out with a fan. I am worried about the amount of power they use when they're not correctly operating. So down in here we have fridge lid, and then we have a secondary lid, and that will actually be glued to this Tasmanian oak lid to make it all nice and decorative. And as you can see, it has quite a good face to it, and it fits exactly into the freezer lid. We'll have a seal all the way around it, but obviously cold air sits down, so we're not too worried about cold air escaping, and if everybody does their job right, I'll shut the bloody fridge quick smart. But anyway, so that's got to be glued to this. But before I can do that, I need to piano hinge this top to the respective bench top, and I've been putting it off because I wanted to make sure I had the dimensions of it all right, and then I can refinish it all because it has undergone quite a lot of stress. Having been building this thing for so long, the stresses and strains on all the surfaces, we intend to come through and sand all of the woodwork down just by hand, and then give it a nice swish coat of benchtop clear, which will sort of build up that piano-like build on all the woodwork, because there's quite a lot of woodwork to be addressed. You can see here, this is probably me carrying something through, and I've welted the side of this wood, but you know, the woodwork's in really good condition, so it doesn't need much work. It's just going to need a quick sand, and then we can get on with the final finishing. But for now, you know, I've been working on the head today, and the place is pulled apart while Janet's out working. But here we are here with the freezer. This is going to come up absolutely beautiful when it's finished, and be a bit of an asset to the whole boat, and hopefully it'll be full of fish most of the time. And then I'll get some epoxy and glue the top to the actual door, and then that's already foam filled, so that's already got some insulation, and then there'll be a rubber strip around that as well. So there's quite a lot to consider here when you're doing the freezer, to make sure that everything fits correctly and to make sure that everything is going to function and certainly not lose cold air out of it. Obviously there's going to be a lot of heat generated by that compressor down underneath. Well, you can see down in here, this is our compressor and this is the bottom of the freezer. So very tight constraints I have here. I still have to physically mount this down, this compressor, and then the coils will attach to here. They're actually coming down the inside of that cabinet there and underneath, and will attach to that. So there's not a lot of wiggle room here. I will be venting it that way and into the bilge, and also back this way into the bilge, and that way it will be into a cooler airspace and certainly allow a lot of the temperature to dissipate into the bilge and not into the cabin. I'm seriously trying to avoid having too much heat. Like the fridge generates a lot of heat, and I've actually just put in another vent on the side of the cabinet up there to vent as much as possible, because you never have enough evacuation of the heat coming out of those compressors, and obviously that's going to extend the longevity of our fridges. The other thing too to remember is that if I were to put a fan in there to blow the heat around, that may actually assist, because Janet's pantry is directly adjacent to the fridge up there, and we are noticing that the wall behind the fridge is actually quite warm, so I'm going to have to really enact that. And it's 39 degrees in here today, so it's hot already, and my batteries are at 36.5 degrees. I don't like them being that hot, but they seem to be able to handle that. It's certainly not too much of an issue. Now I've got to be honest, I hate piano hinges. They drive me nuts, but they really are a perfect solution for something simple like this. But I absolutely despise putting them on, because I always get them a millimetre out and then you're in trouble. So the best way that I can do it is to try to set it up on a table like this, so that the whole thing's aligned and perfectly all right. But it's never an easy task with these things. It's just as it is, and I just put a couple of screws in and hope that they're the right ones. I usually start further in so that I can get the main ones on the ends right, because that's mainly the important one. So I've just positioned it here. I'll just do a tiny little drill hole into the second one, and it won't be so important if it's not right. We'll check it. Sure, there's a carpenter's trick to doing these things correctly, but I don't seem to have that skill. I don't know what it is. It's the one thing that I just despise doing. But anyway, we're doing it very carefully. Major step forward with this, but anyway, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they're in the right place. Oh, I'd say that's bloody perfect. Okay, I'm all ready to glue this up. I have a share in a masking tape company, I'm sure. I have spent more money on masking tape than anything else, and that includes probably materials on the boat. It is insane the amount of money we've spent on masking tape, and this blue stuff at $13 a roll is quite a considerable investment. I remember spending $200-300 a time, every fortnight on this boat, and there's little incidental costs that you just totally forget when you build and you renovate and you do work on boats, because you need to mask absolutely everything. And as you can see here, I've had to mask the perimeter of the lid, the surrounds, and the actual freezer itself to make sure that no epoxy will contaminate the surface or glue the whole thing back together. I want to make sure that that's not going to happen, but by gluing these down, tomorrow we're going to be able to lift these lids and our freezer top will be complete, and I'll be absolutely rapt to have that done. That's one of those little jobs, and then I'm going to do a nice decorative finish around the edge of the timber. But just having a freezer unit is going to change Janet and my life. There'll be less trips to the grocery store. There'll be a lot less effort involved in getting from the boat when we're cruising, and if we catch anything we can chuck it in there, and we're buying meat and vegetables and stuff like that, we can actually chuck them in there. Everyone knows how good a freezer is. Well, we haven't had one now for over 3 months, so we are starting to get to the point that it's getting desperate, and I'm absolutely ready and I'm up to the challenge. Alright, so let's get this glued up, and then I'm going to leave it for the day, and then I can progress on with the freezer install. The defining moment. Oh, let me get rid of that. I'll get some weight on it in a moment, but firstly I'll go and mix up another batch. I went through a lot more than I thought I would, but I just want to make sure that this never ever lifts. So yesterday I glued these down, and I've just removed the masking tape from this one. I was worried these are going to glue the whole thing together. I wouldn't have been able to open it. But yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. That's like a bought one. Absolutely spot on. I do have to adjust the height of the deck here, of the bench top, and make sure it's all level with the top. But I've also found a seal that I'm going to use here for the actual top of the lids. So I've got this compressing seal here, and it's already pretty well sealed because I've made sure that these lids actually fit the rim of the freezer here. But what I'll do is I'll use this self-adhesive fridge sealer, and that should work fine. The masking tape worked, didn't glue to the surface, which I was paranoid about, but I didn't have any over squeeze, but that's glued on forever now. That's now part of the furniture. That works so well. Look, how good's that? I'm so excited. It's been 15 pieces for so long, and it's finally done. Cool.
It's good, Dan.
Turn it off.
Like my work.
Sorry?
I said I like the results of my
Oh
work.
yeah, I've got to remember that Janet made all this stuff. So
I'm teasing you.
she's saying I built the boat, and in fact, I had a lot of help. I did have a lot of help. Got to be careful about claiming it as my work, because it's not. This isn't my work.
It is your work. I was joking with you.
No,
I just
this
made the insides.
And the little bridge that I put in here works perfectly as well. It's actually makes
that
the
was a
lids
good idea.
fit spot on.
Yeah, that was a really good idea.
And the panel fits in neatly, just fit in, luckily. I made it just at the right size. Alright, with that lid up now, I'm going to just trim the edges of it here, basically just with some nice timber coloured normal gaps that I've used on the flooring here. It actually matches this Tassie oak beautifully, but I've masked it all up. Massive job getting this done, but the nice thing is that this is all done now. It's basically one complete unit, and all I can do now is get the thing installed and get it all wired up, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks I'll have a freezer.
So Ross is back down in a hole again. Another hole.
Did you hear the swearing?
I was just about to say whinging and moaning.
This is extreme boat yoga, and I'm stuck with a 30 kilo toilet on my lap and trying to work out the routing of the hoses, which is bloody complicated to say the least. What I've got going in there is complicated. It's all doable. It's just you've got to fit certain things first, and then second things second. If you get it round the wrong way, you're in deep shit like I've just been in. But anyway, we're almost there. We've almost got Janet's wish list.
I love the statement. First things first, second things second.
Yeah. Well, I had second things first and first things second, didn't I?
Okay.
Because there's quick release clips on things for a good reason, and I'd forgotten about that until I swore at it for 2 hours. Anyway, and then I cut the hose too short. But anyway, we're 5 minutes away from having a plumbed in toilet, and that's a good thing. But now I've got to somehow get this up over here. The wiring, which has left us with an inch of extra wiring. I mean, why they couldn't just put another 3 feet of hose on that would make a massive difference to the whole shebang. The good thing about all the Jabsco stuff is there's these little quick release pins that you can sort of have half your plumbing done and then click it in place. And now I've lost the friggin' pin. What have I done with that? It's this little guy here. Can change your life. Because you put the hose on first and then you simply, maybe not simply,
Drop the pin.
the hell won't that go in? Yeah, freaking mother.
You know, while this camera's on, it stops him cursing.
Yeah, turn the camera off and I'll
No, that's why I'm
really
filming.
think
That's why I'm filming.
freaking thing. Oh, you're joking. That was a bloody challenge. I have been challenged a few times on this boat, but this bugger just did my head in. Not only did I have all the plumbing and the wiring, and I was just commenting to Janet a moment ago, when we first built this and we put the module in, the module was against the crash bulkhead, which is directly in front of it. And then I thought, I've got nowhere for plumbing. So I cut the crash bulkhead out and moved it about 30 centimetres forward. And I'm so glad I did, because I hadn't have, I would have had nowhere for all this plumbing to go. It was just one of those, 6 years ago I had all this foresight to do this. And that hole in there and this space is now full. I've still got to tidy it all up, but thank God it's done. But this toilet is now working. I've installed the silent flush thing here and basically routed the wiring around the back and into here, and then I'll just push empty. That's now draining straight out. I haven't actually hooked it up to the black water tank, so I'm going to do that in a moment, and then we're good to go. Everything good to go. But yeah, challenged to the max. I have been on my knees, jammed in this tiny little hole here for probably 6 hours today, and another 6 hours yesterday doing the plumbing, all the routing of the hoses, and then probably 3 or 4 weeks ago I put in all the conduiting and the sanitation hose up to the front, which is another few hours. So you can certainly see why they charge so much to install these toilets. They are nothing like a residential toilet. Nothing like it. They are just so complicated, it's not funny. I just don't see why we don't use a cistern and then a pump at the end. You know, just a pump outside of it, so you can have a simple cistern arrangement. I know it'll probably use a lot more water, but you know, if you've got raw water being brought in with the pump, it doesn't matter how much is sitting in the cistern. I guess it just complicates things and makes things a little bit heavier on a boat having a cistern. But I'll tell you what, it's got to be a better solution than this hoo-ha. Tic Tac's got me working again. Just finished doing the toilet. She goes, I want some lights. I want some lights. Luckily, when we just started sort of spend a few nights a week on the boat, I went into the big hardware shop and I discovered these things. USB chargeable sensor lights. And they're gold. I wish I'd had them in our pantry at home, because every time I walked in there I had to flick all the lights on and all these fluoros would come on. These are gold, but it has taken the pressure off me having to wire the bedrooms, the cabins. Hasn't it, Jan?
Yeah, I hope everyone knows that I want some lights. It's actually you, not me.
Pardon? Would you like to clarify?
Well, when you came in and said, oh, Tic Tac, you put the job on, and you were the one that said, I said, let's just relax. And you said, no, I want to put the lights up. So
we've had a bit of an issue the last few nights. It's been as hot as hell. And that hatch there has been open, and then the mozzies are coming in. So we've got a mozzie net laying over it. I do have a blind/insect screen that goes on there, but I can't put it up until I put the lights in and run all the wires, and then I put the timber Tasmanian oak strip down. So one thing can't come before the other.
which is great because the all gets done.
Everything gets done in one big foul swoop. But anyway, they're going to look really good. We're trying to work out how we want the lights. We certainly have no need for a lot of lighting. We tend to like subdued lighting, but we got two here on the main passageway, one each over the bed. We'll have two reading lights over there and another one under this pelmet here for this dressing table. This dressing table will have a downlight coming down here over a mirror, so we can I can pluck my eyebrows and things. I haven't got any eyebrows, have I? I don't have any eyebrows, do I?
No, you don't.
No, I don't. No. And I can thank my bastard mate Alex for shaving them off when I was drunk one night, and they've never grown back.
Time ago.
Yeah, 40 years ago, but they never grew back. And there's photos of the event as well with me wrapped around the S-bend, and apparently I brushed like this as they started to shave off my eyebrows, the bastards. Oh, these are nice and simple. They have a double effect. They actually help to cushion and push in sort of Chesterman like the roof linings, which are sagging a touch just because of the sheer size of them. Some of them are 8 feet long, so we're using these types of lights to affect that. All right. You all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having fun on the boat. I had 2 days of solid work. I've got so much done, and I don't want to go back to work.
Break that. Oh.
Shit. Whole thing going to come down.
Do you need me to turn this off and coming out?
No. Shit. You bastard. It's a good view, eh? No, that's not going to work. I can't do it.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to turn this off.
Oh, yeah.
So, 3 hours later.
Fucking honestly, I'm going to lay in bed every night trying to get this bastard threaded properly. It's got the finest thread. And I can't move. I'm sick of it. Just get on. I've been here for like friggin' 20 minutes trying to put this thread on.
It's not up on the other side now.
Oh, what is it doing? I just got home to one of the best sights ever. Been a big day at work, fiberglassing on the kayaks, but when you get home and you see this, oh, battery's just died. Well, that's no excuse. Just because the battery dies doesn't mean you have to stop work. That's it. Good job. Janet has been polishing and polishing and polishing, and it's been, and just to get all this back deck clean, everybody is complaining about the dust, the red dust that we've been getting over the last few weeks has been something to behold. We were supposed to have a super wet spring, but it hasn't been as wet as everyone thought it was going to be, so as a result the dust storms from out west are getting worse and worse, and of course the boat here is looking pretty spectacular after a polish. I cannot believe it's beating down on there, which is just wonderful to see. So yeah, big job, and she's been going all day at it, and it's been pretty hot today. It was 34 degrees I think we had today. Nice to see a bit of action at last. I've just arrived home with 60 litres of water to top up, but just getting this clean has been, it's been a bit of a job, and I did a bit of gel coat touching up the other day, and that has made a big difference to all the little chips and things that we just haven't had time to get on top of. Started working on the stainless. I'm going to get that polished up pretty soon, got all the surface rust off that. So the cleaning never ends, and you can see here this red dust. I mean, this is from outback New South Wales, and yeah, it's everywhere, and we're just trying to get on top of it. Once we polish up, it will make a big difference. Sorry about the wind, guys, it is howling.